Hey folks, this is Rhykker, and are the charts right? Does Diablo 4 really have nearly 100% player retention almost a month into the new season? Helldivers 2 also just revealed probably their best new Warbond yet after the most incredible in-game event, and the next Dragon Age game has a new title all of a sudden, and we can expect a full reveal next week. We'll cover all this and other gaming news highlights of the week, but we'll start with Diablo 4. And if you're looking to find all my Diablo 4 Season 4 guides, check out my website, Rhykker.com, which also takes us to a word from our sponsor, Squarespace. I built my website, Rhykker.com, using Squarespace, and I was able to do everything myself, quickly and easily, and with zero education in the field, all thanks to how easy Squarespace is to work with. Watch how easily I updated the Diablo 4 section of my website to include my latest videos. Squarespace is flexible for any kind of website, with tons of templates that you can easily customize to your needs, no knowledge of coding required. You can also easily connect all your social accounts, and also upload your video content and organize your video library. They even have a new AI tool called Squarespace Blueprint to make setting up a website easier than ever, and have that website uniquely tailored to your brand or business. Basically, if you want to build a website, I recommend Squarespace. It's the all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. Stand out with a beautiful website, engage with your audience through it, and sell anything. Your products, content you create, or even your time. So head to squarespace.com/Rhykker or click the link in the description to start your free trial and use code Rhykker to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/RHYKKER and use code Rhykker. Now, back to the Diablo 4 news. We got the launch of the anniversary event this week. It began with the March of the Goblins, and there was some confusion at first over whether the Mother's Blessing XP event, well, when would it start? Some people thought that it was going to launch at the same time as a Goblin event, and then they were disappointed to realize that it wouldn't. Now, it seems that the Mother's Blessing XP event was going to be starting, or was supposed to start on June 10th, but then the team decided to just launch it early. Launch it the same day as the March of the Goblins, once they saw the community's reaction and that there was confusion, that they were expecting it on the same day. So now they just ended up starting it a couple of hours after the March of the Goblins, and it's going to run throughout the entirety of this anniversary event until June 20th. As a reminder, March of the Goblins means more goblins are spawning, they're dropping more loot, and in dungeons they're appearing in pairs and sometimes in packs. Unfortunately, almost immediately complaints started to come out about the goblins being underwhelming. The Mother's Blessing event is giving a 25% XP buff and a 50% gold find buff. March of the Goblins ends on June 13th, and Mother's Blessing will go all the way through June 20th. As a reminder, you can also get free cosmetics in the shop every day. Now, as for the anniversary event itself, at least the Goblin side of things, people don't seem to be very impressed. I see callouts that it's low effort, the gold buff is meaningless because it only buffs gold dropped from monsters when the vast majority of our gold comes from Whisper turn-ins. The Goblin loot isn't better than just farming Blood Maiden and Helltide. And overall, that if there wasn't even an announcement that this event was happening, a lot of people probably wouldn't even notice the event at all. For myself personally, I knew I'd just be in it for the XP buff. This is the perfect time to crank out more level 100 characters. But what about you folks? Are you fine with the event as it is, or do you think Blizzard should have done more? We also got this week patch notes for an upcoming patch that'll address a lot of the things we discussed in last week's video. First off, Stygian stones are going to drop more often now. That's at pit level 1. By pit tier 40, you have a 10% chance. Pit tier 100 is 18%, and pit tier 200, a lot of people are running that, is going to be 30%. I'm actually concerned the devs may have overcorrected here at the lower pit levels, but honestly, I mean, we're now a month into the season, it's probably fine for now. They also made changes to pit bosses. They adjusted the damage of boss powers and boss affixes to be more in line with the difficulty of the dungeon leading up to the fight. This is another big thing that we spoke about. And they also reduced the frequency of boss affixes so they don't overlap. Again, this is going to help with being able to dodge those, what people were calling one-shot effects. So altogether, this just addresses exactly some of our big topics from last week. The jump in difficulty, right? From pre-boss to boss was just so extreme, and players were feeling like they were getting one shot by the boss mechanics, and that was frustrating. Now, one thing I'd like to correct actually from last week's video, I said that the scaling of the pit meant that you would reach a point eventually where incoming damage will always one-shot you. That's actually not the case. Hat tip to Rob. At pit level 100 and beyond, incoming damage stops scaling upward. Enemy health keeps scaling, but if you can survive a single hit at pit level 100, then you can survive a single hit at pit level 200 as well. And as long as you build your character correctly and max out all your defenses and stack enough life, then nothing in the pit should be able to one-shot kill you, starting at any level, for that matter, any level. Now, it's harder for some classes to get there than others. Barbarians in particular are able to stack a lot of that toughness much more easily than, say, a sorcerer. But if you're willing to put in the effort to build up the right defensive tools, then you should arrive in a position where nothing will one-shot you. Now, that doesn't change the fact that we've had this perception of one-shots, and I think that perception is because, again, of the huge difficulty ramp from pre-boss to the boss. So, like, when nothing is hurting you all that much before the boss, and then all of a sudden the boss one-shots you, it feels worse than it actually is. The pre-boss stuff makes you feel like you don't need all that much toughness, and it makes the things that do kill you in one hit at the boss feel like, oh, well, that would have been a one-shot no matter how much defense I had. So hopefully spreading some awareness on we just need to improve the defense of our builds and look for more, again, defensive tools to bring into the pit if you really want to push those high pit levels. I actually hope now that things haven't become too easy. What I had proposed was lowering boss difficulty and increasing the pre-boss difficulty, but it sounds like they're just lowering boss difficulty and not changing the pre-boss stuff. So really what I just hope is that by the end of the season that we don't have people clearing pit level 200. I want the pit to remain that mountain that has not been climbed in the same season that it launched in. This patch also included some other fixes and adjustments. Targeted unique items, for instance, dropping from bosses. They apparently couldn't drop with greater affixes, so that's now been fixed. Duplicate or obsolete temper manuals will no longer drop. Hooray. And now the pit remembers what level you previously just did in the pit, and it will default to that selection. Oh, happy day. I'm honestly surprised, actually, that they got this fix in so quickly. It's such a huge quality of life thing, and I just assume that something that's like UI related and quality of life isn't something that could be done so fast, with such a fast turnaround. Now, one interesting thing that I've seen brought up is retention numbers for Diablo 4 Season 4. And if we are to go by the Steam numbers, which are the only numbers that we have access to, then Diablo 4 has managed to effectively maintain 100% player retention since Season 4's May 14th launch. We're about 3 to 4 weeks into the season now, and after an initial weekend peak of 29,000 players on May 19th, those numbers have remained relatively consistent ever since. That's after numbers were consistently under 10,000 and often closer to 5,000 towards the end for like the 3 months prior to the season launch. We consistently see within modern ARPGs a drop-off of about 50% by 2 weeks into a new season. So if that's been the pattern in all other modern ARPGs, why haven't the numbers dropped in Diablo 4 3+ weeks in? Well, first of all, it's important to recognize that we're just looking at a small subset of the D4 community, probably the smallest subset. D4 is on Xbox, and it recently came to Game Pass, where it saw huge numbers. D4 is on PlayStation, which just generally has more players than Xbox across most games. And it was on PC Battle.net for months before it ever came to Steam. So I think it's fair to assume that most Diablo PC players play on Battle.net rather than on Steam by an enormous majority. Basically, by the time the game came out on Steam, since there was no heads up that the game ever would come to Steam, it was a complete surprise. Anyone who wanted to buy D4 on PC had already bought it on Battle.net. So D4's Steam player base represents players who did not buy the game at launch, meaning that on average, they probably aren't big Diablo fans or even big ARPG fans. Again, on average, I'm sure there are exceptions. We also have to note that starting on June 2nd, D4 on Steam went on sale for 50% off. Thus, the spike at the end of the graph over here raising player counts. So with a surge of new players coming in to replace the exiting players, the data gets muddied and it paints a picture that does not accurately represent retention. So if we disregard that last part and we just look at the numbers right before the sale, we see that the numbers were down to 22,000, from 29,000 down to 22. That's about a 23% drop in players over the course of 2 weeks. still significantly better than the 50% we typically see in the genre. But I still think the Steam numbers are likely overperforming relative to average numbers across other platforms for another reason. If a new PC player picks up the game today, on what platform is it likely to be? Again, if you didn't buy D4 until Season 4, I'm willing to bet that a lot more people are buying it on Steam rather than Battle.net because A, they're likely not Diablo fans that have been accustomed to keeping all their Diablo games on their Diablo account on Battle.net, and B, they're probably just generally in favor of keeping all their PC games on Steam because, I mean, come on, Steam is awesome, why wouldn't you? Basically what I'm saying is that we likely have the biggest number of new PC players on Steam right now, like by a big majority versus on Battle.net. And for a new player, you have a whole campaign to play through before you begin to dive into the endgame. You could skip the campaign, and I'm sure some do, but the campaign is a whole lot of extra content to play through, and that can keep, an average gamer busy for a whole month. Now, taking all that into account, I'm still willing to bet that Season 4 has the best retention of any Diablo 4 season yet. Just anecdotally, it still sounds like people are having fun, it still sounds like people are logging in, the D4 bad memes have not returned yet. Now, unfortunately, again, we don't have any other data to go by. If anyone tells you they have data, if there's any website showing data, that's not real data. There are websites that find ways to extrapolate numbers based on whatever metrics they're pulling from, but none of it is accurate, none of it is real numbers. It can be off by an entire order of magnitude. They're just guessing. It's probably better than whatever guessing you and I can come up with, but it's still just guesswork. Only Blizzard has the real numbers, and I think that they have positioned their Steam sale wisely and their XP event wisely as well to bring in new players just as the player count was starting to drop, and to bring back players who were maybe starting to be done with the season with a promise of faster leveling of a new character. It's like, well, okay, sure, I guess I'll make a sorcerer now. But how about you folks? Are you still playing Season 4? Why or why not? Sound off in the comments. Oh, and the Xbox Games Showcase is happening tomorrow. I'm expecting Blizzard to now have a presence there, now that they're owned by Microsoft, and for them to reveal more details about Diablo 4's expansion, Vessel of Hatred, which is supposed to release towards the end of the year. I'll get out a video as soon as possible tomorrow if we do get more Vessel of Hatred details. Because then crazy stuff has been happening in Helldivers 2. We succeeded on the major order on Meridia, successfully collapsing the planet into a black hole, destroying the Terminid supercolony on it, probably. If you were online and in orbit around Meridia while this happened, you're in for quite a sight. An emergency alert forced you to FTL jump back to Super Earth. You then got to see Meridia disappear from the galactic map and get replaced with a black hole. And now, if you go return to the Meridia system, you get to see the glorious black hole. It's all that's left of the entire system. Not just the planet, everything around it is gone. There's no sun, nothing. A big black void and that ominous purpley energy warp field. It was just fantastic storytelling. This has got to be the most memorable major order of the game yet. But this depiction of a black hole, it's quite unique, isn't it? It's not what you typically imagine when you picture a black hole. Could just be artistic license from the devs, but I got a theory. That's not actually a black hole. It's a wormhole. A wormhole that leads to wherever the alien race known as the Illuminate live. And we just yeeted at them a planet infested with Terminids. And if that's the case, I don't think they'll take too kindly to our little present. And in the celebratory breaking news video, in which the news correspondent confirms that we turned the planet into a black hole, she mentions that only minor space-time distortions have been observed in the vicinity. Yeah, I mean, you can chalk that up to a black hole, but I feel that it's meant to be a teaser for something more. But what do you folks think? Is this just a black hole, or is it a wormhole? We also got this week the reveal of the next Warbond, Viper Commandos, and it's looking like it may be the coolest Warbond yet. Releasing on June 13th, it includes new skins for your mechs and drop pods and pelicans. This is a first. It also has new armor, victory poses, capes, and weapons, of course. The new primary, the Liberator Carbine, has higher recoil than the normal Liberator, but faster handling. The new secondary is a triple barrel sawed-off shotgun. Yes, as a secondary. And you can change between firing one barrel at a time or all three at once. Then there's a new special, which I imagine takes up the grenade slot. A throwing knife. How cool is that? Then the 2 armors of this Warbond also have a new perk, Peak Physique, which improves melee damage and weapon handling. The Warbond also includes a new booster called Experimental Infusion, which gives your stims the added bonus of boosting your move speed and reducing damage you take for a short time. And I mean, this is just instantly in the meta now, right? The devs said in a blog post that they've been listening to our feedback and they're going to slow down the pace of release of Warbonds in order to ensure each Warbond is more unique and interesting. And if this is what we can expect going forward, I think this is fantastic. They also confirmed that they're slowing down their patch cadence, which they'll explain further in an upcoming blog. Next patch is confirmed to be launching in the 2nd week of June. And honestly, slowing down both the patches and the Warbonds is what is needed right now. Content was coming so fast, so furiously, that a bunch of tech debt was being built up. There were bugs and issues lingering for weeks. New content was being pushed out without being properly QA'd, adding new bugs and new issues. And we've been putting up with it because the game is just so damn fun. But this will be a good change going forward, resulting in a better game. Some Dragon Age news is heating up. Dragon Age 4 is being renamed from Dragon Age the Dreadwolf to Dragon Age the Veilguard. And the reason for this is that they wanted to put the focus on the heroes rather than the villains, because that's what the story's about, you and your companions. And we're going to have 7 companions to choose from, and I look forward to meeting them, because honestly, the companions have always been what makes these games so great for me. We're going to get a full 15-minute gameplay reveal on June 11th at 8 a.m. PT on the Dragon Age YouTube channel. Dragon Age 2 is my favorite Dragon Age game. I know a lot of Dragon Age 1 players did not quite like Dragon Age 2, but it was my first Dragon Age. I fell in love with the characters so much. Then for those who remember, back in the day, I made Dragon Age Inquisition YouTube content, so I'm really looking forward to the Veilguard. And as a reminder, the Veilguard is not going to be a multiplayer live service game. The 4th Dragon Age went through a few iterations over its development life cycle, but they've landed now on a solidly classic single-player story experience. We started seeing hands-on previews of Elden Ring's upcoming Shadow of the Erdtree expansion this week. The expansion is bringing 8 new weapon types, including light greatswords, beast claws, and great katanas. We're getting over 100 new weapons, at least 10 new major bosses, not even counting side bosses, and about 30 to 50 hours of playtime if you rush through the content. Previewers were able to play 2 legacy dungeons, but there will be more in the full expansion. Just the first area in Shadow of the Erdtree is close in size to Limgrave, the Weeping Peninsula, and some of Caelid. And again, that's just the first area. Overall, impressions are sounding really positive. I mean, just the amount of content here, they basically made Elden Ring 2, or almost. And in a recent interview, Hidetaka Miyazaki said that the expansion has to be big because he wanted players to experience the sense of discovery and that sense of wonder all over again. What a guy. Official modding support is coming to Baldur's Gate 3, but before you celebrate too much, if you're already into the BG3 modding scene, this won't really do much for you. What we're getting is basically Steam Workshop integration, but no new tools, no level editor, no total conversions possible, basically just model and texture swapping, plus scripting, stuff that the modding community has already been doing. The big advantage here is that mods will now be accessible to casual gamers via the Steam Workshop, and also while console gamers will not be able to create mods, some curated PC mods will be available on console, so that's nice. In some quick Path of Exile news, we got an update on when we can expect the next expansion. The devs are targeting late July for 3.25, and they'll be revealing the full details during the GGG Live event around mid-July. We got the official Shadow and Fury trailer for World of Warcraft, The War Within, as well as the kickoff of the beta. It's a great looking trailer, and the story seems promising. Then the Summer Games Fest happened last night, hosted by Jeff Keighley, and here's a super quick rundown of what I thought to be the highlights. We got the official announced trailer of No More Room in Hell 2. This is an 8-player co-op game on a massive map, permadeath, action horror, going through a zombie-infested map, and it's coming Halloween 2024. We got the official reveal trailer of Harry Potter Quidditch Champions launching on September 3rd. We got another teaser for Star Wars Outlaws. That one's launching on August 30th, but we'll get to learn more about the game on June 10th. We got a gameplay trailer for Neva. This is a beautiful indie title from the creator of Gree, and it's coming this year. We got the teaser trailer for Sid Meier's Civilization 7, full reveal expected later this summer. Civ 7 launches next year. We got the pre-order CG trailer for Black Myth Wukong. The game launches on August 20th on PC and PS5. No release date yet for Xbox, as they're still optimizing things. We got the release date announcement for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, October 11th. And this one looks like it's going to be a sort of alternate universe where we explore different potential outcomes of stories. We got a trailer for Delta Force Hawk Ops. This is a free-to-play first-person tactical shooter. It'll have a global PC alpha test in July. And this game's also going to have a premium campaign mode, Black Hawk Down, which is a reimagining of the original game, and they're fully licensed to recreate scenes from the Ridley Scott movie. We got an official mecha design concept trailer for Mecha Break. Closed beta test for this one coming in August. Then we got the reveal that horror movie producer Blumhouse is entering the video game world with a new label called Blumhouse Games, and they're basically just applying the Blumhouse movie model to video games, where they sort of taken a hodgepodge of different ideas from different people, giving a chance to a lot of smaller creators. And so they revealed a whole slew of indie projects that are all in the horror theme, but really vary tremendously in their styles. And they also dropped that they're working on the sequel to Five Nights at Freddy's the movie. We got the announced trailer for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. Looks like this will be a fun beat 'em up. We got the reveal trailer of Deer and Boy, which starts off looking like a heartbreaking Bambi game and ends up mixing with some kind of Eldritch horror. We got the Saints and Sinners trailer of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The first-person open-world action RPG is coming later this year. We got an official gameplay trailer for Slitterhead. This is made by the creator of Silent Hill, and it's releasing on November 8th. We got the reveal trailer of Killer Bean, a third-person roguelite shooter, which at first I thought was absolute nonsense, but the trailer really grew on me. This game's entering early access this summer. We got a reveal trailer for Cairn, which is a survival climber game, which has you managing your resources and your physical condition, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty intense and realistic climbing challenge. We got the reveal trailer for Wanderstop. This is by the creator of the Stanley Parable, and toward the end you can see the hints at a darker story. This one's coming this year. We got the story trailer of Unknown 9 Awakening, which is looking really cool actually. It's an action-adventure game coming this fall. We got the official trailer for Enotria The Last Song. This is a Souls-like coming out September 18th with a demo available now. We got the official cinematic launch date reveal of The First Descendant. It's a next-gen looter shooter with dynamic co-op gameplay. It's got a grappling hook mechanic, and we learned that it's releasing on July 2nd. Then we learned that the Among Us devs have started a game fund to help fund other indie devs. And we got a sneak peek at the Among Us TV show. It's an animated series, and they got an all-star cast of voice actors here. Patton Oswalt, Elijah Woods, Yvette Nicole Brown, Randall Park, Wayne Knight, and more. Then Blizzard and StarCraft alum David Kim came out and revealed Battle Aces. After a stint on the Diablo 4 team, he's back to his RTS roots, and he's making an RTS aimed at everyone, both noobs and veterans of the genre. It's supposed to be an action-packed army versus army game with a high emphasis on strategy and a focus on unit decks, with over 50 different units to choose from. And one of their goals is to reduce tedious clicks as much as possible, which they feel has plagued the genre. They just want to focus on the fun parts of RTS games. Closed beta begins later this month with registration open now. Then we got the official Season 3 trailer of The Finals, which is a game I haven't heard of before, but we're apparently already on Season 3. It's a free-to-play first-person shooter that focuses on team-based matches, and honestly, my first impression is that it's a more realistic-looking Overwatch. This game actually looks pretty damn fun. Season 3 launches June 13th. Then Sam Lake from Remedy came out to talk about Alan Wake 2, and they revealed the first expansion for the game, The Night Springs, which will bring 3 new episodes. It's looking great, and it's going to launch June 8th. We got the Year 2 character reveal trailer for Street Fighter 6. Mr. Bison's coming this summer. Terry is coming in autumn, Mai is coming in winter 2025, and Elena is coming in spring 2025. We got the announced trailer for New World Aeternum. This one's coming October 15th, and it's an open world action RPG set on a supernatural island in which you're a shipwrecked explorer who washes ashore. We got a new trailer for Dark and Darker. This game is releasing for free on Steam Early Access and the Epic Games Store. It's an unforgiving hardcore fantasy FPS dungeon PvPvE adventure that lets you wield a wide assortment of weapons. And while it's free to play, it's more like it's free to try. You're pretty limited in what you're able to do, but I still think it's a good model. Then we got a video that looked honestly like it was a sketch from the comedy show I Think You Should Leave, which I love that show. The humor isn't for everyone, it's quite out there. I saw some people cringing in the YouTube chat, but this turned out to actually be a trailer or a teaser for Skate from EA. We got a trailer for Palworld. They got a whole new island coming in the game's first major update. People will be able to try it out before its release. It's releasing on June 27th. We got a second trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds, The Hunter's Journey. And we learned that the game will release on all platforms simultaneously, with cross-play as well. This one's coming next year. And the last highlight I'll go through is Phantom Blade Zero. We got a gameplay trailer. This is another game whose gameplay seems pretty out there, but looking pretty cool. And that's going to wrap up this week's video, but do be sure to check out last week's video in which we discussed the issue that the Diablo 4 player base seems split on. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Special thanks to my supporters, and subscribe to join Rhykkers Raiders for more gaming content.